Okay, the recording has started. Welcome to session number 9, the 10th session, because we started at 0. Would anyone like to give a retelling of what's currently going on in the situation? It doesn't have to specifically be about what happened last session, just anybody want to get things up to speed? I will award an experience point to anyone who can do that. And cheating and looking at the notes is totally allowed.
That's what I was in the process of doing. Um, so we've arrived in Celebre, and the day prior to the mining cooperative caravan arriving, we each went off and they made some side deals, um, arranged a few things. Avatala has an obligation to her family to, use the buy cooperative shipment to make a different guild look bad, and also has secured a possibility of getting her, let's say, back online. Dasco has set up something quite interesting, where you can essentially impersonate some Corlothy government agents to meet the mine cooperative and help ship out the treasure. Rorak met somebody who's been hired to help guard the treasure for the mine cooperative, who is a fellow veteran of the David Wars, and is very scary and hot. Um, Barnabas went on a clothes shopping extravaganza, costume extravaganza, and also met a um, intelligence agency operative from Thoradale who wants us to stop them. Which, yeah, was already the plan. So there are going to be explosives stuck on board, and um, Barnabas will get reward if they go off and sink the ships. And Charles, interestingly enough, has gone to try and uh, come up with a spell that will allow us to raise a skeleton ship, essentially, to possibly make use of either to get the gold out or to get the gold back up. But that's still a work in process, and I believe he needs a bag of holding or something to, or at least to observe one, to help complete that spell.
Yeah, that is the case. One little detail, Dasco didn't figure out how to disguise himself as one of those representatives. He just lied and said that he did to a Thieves Guild operative. What he actually got was he got a separate side deal to pick up documents of basically like compromising documents that show that certain members of Celebran High Society have been making deals with Aphthis in exchange for immunity from their plagues. And the Thieves Guild would like the list of those people so that they can be dealt with. But yeah, other than that is the situation that you guys are in. You do have the intention, I assume, and this may or may not have changed, but the intention, as from what I understand it, was to have Barnabas pose as a member of the Corlanthe embassy and basically go and do a checkup on, get some intel on the treasure when it arrives tomorrow, as well as try to do whatever can be done to get them to put all the treasure into one place, as opposed to keeping it spread out. Yeah, so the biggest hurdle to that, of course, would be preventing the actual Corlanthe embassy from sending the actual representative. And that is where we're at. Charles needs some help in finding somebody who deals in portable holes, bags of holding, and the like to complete his research. Evatala has a meeting, or is supposed to make a social call to try and plant some ideas in someone's head. And Rurik, I think you were going to try and do some infiltrating. We'll see.
Yeah.
So while the party is currently together, having regrouped, how do you guys want to split up to do your different things?
If I'm not mistaken, my plan is to go to the chick, whose name I can't remember right now, and basically say, hey, my old job fell through. Are you still open to having me work security with you? I believe that was my personal plan.
Okay. Her name is Dela.
Yes, Dela.
And yeah, you can do that. Do you want to do anything before you do that? Do you want to help them?
I mean, like, yeah, anything that they need. If you guys need help with dice rolls or anything like that, I'll do what I can.
Because Dela's job isn't until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I'll table my action until everyone is done with their actions, in case I can help them with like leadership roles or anything like that.
Okay. So let's look at the other things that are going on then. Evatala, is she going to go alone, or is she going to try and bring some backup to this, what is essentially a social encounter? Unlikely to be combat at that state.
Yeah, it's unlikely combat. I definitely don't need a rock to be like a bodyguard or anything. I might, if Remy doesn't have anything on, I might drag Remy because Remy has ideas. And, we are talking to somebody who, well, they might not be part of the Black Operatives, they're definitely connected, and may, drop information that Evatala wouldn't be able to make use of, but Remy might. The other thing is there a chance that I might know where one could procure a bag of holding to help Charles?
Yeah, so Charles is going to need some help with that. Charles has confirmed there is somebody who deals with them here in the city, but as of yet, was unable to find them. It's like they're hidden away somewhere secretive.
Yeah, I was going to try to help Charles, but I can also go with Evitalia.
Well, I mean, given my connections in both the nobility and the magic parts of how am I pulling a blank on the name of the city we're in? This is embarrassing.
Celebre, I believe.
Thank you so much, Celebre. But given my connection to him, I might just be able to know where you might be able to procure one. It might not be your best deal, but I might know where to get it.
If you'd like to, you can make a connections check to see if you just happen to know.
Three successes.
So I have to figure out why session didn't update there. Okay, there we go. 3 okay. All right. So you do absolutely know a place that's dealing with it. It's a recent thing. but a quite famous alchemist that was mostly famous for making pleasant smells, scented candles and the like, had some kind of recent invention that has enabled them to move into that market. They've quickly sort of cornered interest in that market, but they're also highly exclusive. There's a lot of security around their location, and it's in an odd place. It's very near to a gigantic hole in the ground where the original mage tower that used to be the university was before it was teleported away. The Anarian elves have apologized profusely for teleporting the tower. They didn't realize anyone was using it. But it left a gigantic hole in the ground, and some of the old magic experiments were kind of leaking out, and so it's not considered the safest place. However, this alchemist has made their home there, perhaps because, it was a place of great learning at the time, and they just didn't want to move, or perhaps because some of those experiments leaking out have been useful in alchemical research. Whatever the case may be, it's in what is simultaneously a bad part of town and a high security district.
Well, I will relay that information to Charles while simultaneously make it very clear that I am above this mess.
So, Charles, you not know the location of a peddler that is selling, portable large-scale containment units. Getting in may be another matter, but always money can get you in. That's a guarantee. If you can show that you're legitimately a customer that's going to spend money there, make a deposit on a nice purchase, then they'll absolutely let you in because they're there to do business. But if they sense that you're there just for your own private research, they're probably going to kick you out. They're almost certainly going to take offense to your using Delterra's toolkit on their magics, which they probably consider to be proprietary.
Testing. So I need a way of getting access. Yeah, so I don't know if I don't have the funds to pick up this item myself right now. Were we going to buy one anyway, or were we trying to freeload it off of the company again?
They were trying to freeload one, but that was before you needed one for your research. So that's it's up to you guys how you want to handle that. You do still have, I believe, I haven't looked at your character sheet, but I think the term was shitload of money.
3 out of 6 is left.
Okay. 6 is still a pretty substantial amount. If you go in and drop one of those, then you're walking away with something magical. Yeah, if you're not willing to grease palms, then you may have to find an infiltrate-y kind of way of getting in to look at their gear. So we'll circle back to that. Kristen, did you know what you want Barnabas to be doing?
So I don't know if this is a job for Barnabas, but we do need to deal with that Corlanth delegate. I'm not sure if we want to do that with muscle or some sort of other devious way. I wonder if they just disappeared, if we disappeared them, if that might cause suspicion. So maybe we need to somehow convince them that they don't need to be here.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
So like one of the ideas I was thinking is like, oh, like Barnabas can convince them that like, oh wait, why did they send you here? I'm here to handle this. Like, you go back or whatever. Or we kill them.
Yeah, there are a lot of options. Now, one option is to just wait till they show up and then have Rurik use a flashback power and they don't show up. That's totally an option. Another option is, to go in, as you said, and trying to manipulate the situation. And there are some advantages to manipulating the situation, which is that you might be able to maintain the ruse for far longer than just the one meeting, if you needed to. For example, if you convince the Corlanthi that you're one of their representatives, somehow, I have no idea how you do that, but if you did, then they may well actually assign you to represent them in various capacities. For example, if the court proceedings that are inevitably going to happen when this arrives through customs requires a Corlanthi representative, you might be already involved in that. So it's up to you if you want to try and do this as kind of just a one-off to get some intel, or if you want to try and really inject yourself into that system.
Yeah. The route of keeping the ruse going longer seems riskier because I would have to continually be having to like keep that up, and someone might find me out. But at the same time, like having the person just disappear or whatever could be suspicious. But I don't know. Rorik, are you wanting to like disappear someone?
I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. Like, do I want to scare somebody? If you guys want me to, I'll scare the shit out of whoever you want me to scare the shit out of.
I think they might be going a bit beyond scared and into the territory of murder.
I mean, I'm also perfectly capable of using extreme violence. So I'm probably the most well-equipped to do extreme violence. So
I also could find out at the cost of a soul. I could find out all about their past, so that when you take them as a costume, you can know all their background information.
Because we do disappear them, and just have Barnabas take their place. Depending how well job Barnabas does, that could still, keep the ruse up
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Long enough to at least get on the ship.
Yeah. Do we know like what would be the chances of someone knowing who this person would like, what they would look like?
Currently, you guys have done no intel scouting of the embassy at all.
Okay. That's actually, you know what? I think before we decide like what to do, I think a little bit of intel scouting is the way to go, just so we have a better idea of what we're dealing with and what might be the best course of action. Because if this person's like, like 10 feet tall or something, and I'm a dwarf, and I'm like trying to convince people that I'm that person, it might not work so well when if we run into someone who knows what this person looks like.
The one thing you do know is that, much like Celebre, Corlanth is very cosmopolitan. Pretty much all races are represented there. So it's not a problem that you're a dwarf. But yeah, if you're trying specifically to pretend you're a specific dude, it might be a good idea to make sure that, they aren't a kobold or something. Or an ogre, or whatever they might be, right?
Or like the one robot person in their inquiry.
Yeah, that is one of the species. You're pretty sure they're not Petrish. There wouldn't be a Petrish from Corlanth. There also wouldn't be a Petrish from Celebre.
So here's an idea that I just came up with. Could Barnabas pretend to be part of the mind cooperative that was sent ahead to meet the Corlanthi representative before the caravan arrives? And that way Barnabas could get in and at least get a lay of the area. Obviously, again, in disguise, which I don't think is an issue for Barnabas. And then later, assume that identity with different disguise.
All these sound like excellent plans.
But
which can go hilariously in all kinds of different ways.
The mining cooperative thing, is that... So that caravan isn't here yet?
The caravan is not here yet, but interestingly, somebody who has been hired to protect the caravan is here.
Yeah, it's my old homie, right?
Yep. Which means some members of that group have gotten here early.
You know what's fucked up though? Isn't she with Lyria as well?
She was.
Fuck. It's gonna be way harder for me to do this now, guys.
Would you guys like to? I'm going to give this option to Chris. If you want to tax your criminal mastermind ability, you can try to think of exactly how the opposition managed to manipulate this piece into place.
Wait. Okay. I'm working. I'm on like a couple plans behind. Got a lot of issues all of a sudden. So, what's Rorik's problem now? Who's with Rorik's friend?
One of my rivals from my old crew.
One of your rivals from your old crew, and I can tax my criminal potential to try to figure out how that person got there.
You can if you want to, yeah.
Yeah, wait. So just a little quick point of order. Do we all know that our rivals are all working together?
Actually, no. Technically, you don't find that out till tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know if we actually know that. So
the only person that reasonably could have figured out that would be the case would be Remy, because Remy has a mastermind and could have predicted that possibility.
Yeah.
But that would be a use of criminal potential, to use your mastermind powers to predict that your opponents would send a specific person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem taxing that.
Okay. So this is kind of like revealing an enemy flashback power. So way back. In fact, I may even put this in the timeline in red so we can see the enemy flashbacks. Your enemy predicted that they were going to need a specific character following along behind you as you traveled on the road, but also with one of their own agents traveling in your party. For the leader of that mercenary group had been meeting earlier in a bar with a member of the mining cooperative. And while they traveled with your party, the mining cooperative was moving along behind you, recruiting. And when you guys reached the tower where the mages were repairing rods, as you guys went into the swamp, they went through one of those portals to arrive at Celebrate ahead of you.
Gotcha.
I'll wait until we're not in the middle of recording a session to add that into the timeline, but yeah. The Iron Shadows flashback power. He recruited some people, yeah, which you guys will meet tomorrow.
Yeah, because we got a little back. We sort of had that inkling when those zombies came after us at one point.
You do figure that you left a little bit of a footprint by being in the city, which you couldn't really help. You were in jail there. But being in the city with Evatala and being seen by the Iron Shadow's right-hand man, Slafan. Slafan would have reported that you were there, which leads him to the conclusion you're there to rob them, because you're Remy.
Awesome. Okay. So what are the problems we got to solve right now? We need to get Charles to get the bag of holding, which apparently we just give him money, and that should supposedly solve that problem.
Yep, that's fine.
We need to get Barnabas into the Corlanthe group.
Into the Corlanthe embassy here in Celebre.
Yeah, we basically need to somehow make it so that I am the Corlanthe, I guess, delegate that's going to be escorting the goods. But there is already another delegate present, so we need to somehow deal with that. Either get rid of them completely or convince them that I'm actually the one that's supposed to be doing the job.
All right, so of course we don't have our grocer.
If you need to trigger grocer powers to get something, I think that's reasonable for you to be able to do that.
Fair enough. So I can use my I know a guy ability to try to get because we don't have anyone that can do forgeries, right? Am I correct? Anyone here can do that stuff or no?
Not well. Evatala has done it this campaign.
We're gonna need a good forgery to try to find someone to forge some sort of official Corlanthe note saying that Barnabas is the representative and the other representatives being recalled.
That's a good one.
And then Barnabas just needs a uniform.
Oh, I've already got that.
Oh, okay, cool. So we got that. So we don't need the grocer. And then Oric just needs to, after that happens, needs to disappear the other delegate after they leave, so they just never get anywhere and ask why they've been recalled.
Oh yeah, that's true. If we just have them like recall and go back, then eventually we're gonna get found out. So like, we do need to disappear them.
Yes.
All right, Rorik.
So, I guess I've got to use the I know a guy to find a forger. So would that be my connections plus my crime?
Would we be able to help with this?
It is a talent, so let's see.
Oh, forging is a talent.
I know a guy has a talent.
Oh, never mind.
Forging would fall under artistry, no? Or crime.
Yeah, forging would be artistry or crime, either one.
But I'm trying to find a person, so it'd be my connections, and then the I know a guy means I get to add my crime in bonus dice. So is that correct? Like if I'm trying to find someone, it'd be my connections plus my crime?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so when making a connections attempt, you may add your crime to it. You pay one crime, and then Yep. Technically, you pay after the effect, so you get
Gotcha.
all from
All right. And then All right, so let me do that.
As regards to helper dice, since this is a prestige thing, you guys can make attempts to succeed where he fails if he fails, but it's not like it's it's not like you half know somebody and he half knows somebody. You put those two halves together to make a whole person. That would be kind of hilarious. But, okay. You know somebody. You know a quality 3 person.
Awesome.
All right, so while you're off to meet them, let's deal with the other 2 events. So, Evatala, you're going to go meet up with, let me find her name, Samantha Parrington Bladsworth, widowed.
Yeah, I think I'm comfortable going at this alone as me.
Okay. So, arriving at the mansion, you are recognized and, of course, announced, because you don't just let people in. They have to be properly announced. Part of the protocol. And having been announced, you are then shown to the garden, where it looks like Samantha is having a little party for her daughter.
Cool.
Checking your notes, it is not a birthday or any other thing of note, so there must be something recent that they're celebrating. Samantha stands and greets you from her position of repose, motions you to a chair, and of course the butler is there with drinks and tiny little cakes on sticks.
I'm terribly sorry to intrude. I wasn't aware you were having a party today.
She seems unusually gleeful. Normally this is a woman of rather serious and dour demeanor, but there's something almost giddy about her, as she says, "Yes, my little darling cast her first cantrip."
Oh, that's amazing!
Indeed.
I'll never forget the day I cast my first cantrip.
Money well spent, she says. Not necessarily knowing that you managed to do it on your own.
Yeah. After the fact. But I do send my congratulations. Unfortunately, I hope it's not too intrinsic that I'm here on business.
Business.
Yeah.
She groans.
Yeah.
You know that she's faking it, though. She's very interested in business.
I know. I hate when business interrupts parties, too. Which really happens every time. In fact, I think most of my parties are just business. In cheerful tones. But anyway, I have heard your it's brother, right?
Yes, her brother.
Yeah.
Edgar Parrington is her brother.
I've heard your brother has a very profitable venture that he is currently on, and is not necessarily holding up to our traditions down the docks. Now, before you like, yeah, you're right. We aren't fighting this. It's not worth it to us. But I do want to give you fair warning that not everyone is as reliable as you think that they are. If you could pass that message on, that'd be, you know, I just want, as
Her
business
eyes
lady to
narrow.
business lady.
Her eyes narrow. Says, Evatala, I thought better of you.
We aren't fighting it. We are going to the courts. We could go to the courts. We could win in the courts, but that would slow down business for everybody. I'm just letting you know. They, you know, we guarantee expedience and I filled a blank on this word.
She says, this must
Yeah.
be your uncle's doing. Your father would never have you stoop to becoming a salesperson. There's venom on her voice as she says that word.
If it was my uncle's doing, surely he'd said my cousin. No, this is me.
I've heard of the troubles he's having, but my little darling succeeded where he has failed, and she's going to become the next Delterra of this city.
Yes, I'm just.
Over in the garden, there's a little girl that's got like a little glowing sphere above her head. She's just dancing around happily.
Yeah. Look, we all have our talents, and one of his talents is being a useless piece of shit. But other than that, I wouldn't be.
Fucking savage.
Of that, she smiles, yes.
But I would not be here if I was simply asked by a family member. I'm here. I will be honest, in part to protect our family business, but also just because, I don't even quite know who's like gone under the table on this one. But these under the table dealings, these sketchy side deals to get something out quick and easy, but there could be complications with those.
She sort of sighs and reclines and says, you are right, of course. My brother believes himself to be far too clever for his own good. Too many threads weaving too thin a plot, and you end up with cloth you can cut through with a knife. You need strong rope on this one.
Right.
But I have no influence over my brother's wild delusions.
Oh, I can't imagine so, but, I would not be doing my duty if I did not make sure that he was warned. But unfortunately, I've heard that he is not in town yet.
Oh, then you have heard wrong. He was in to visit me just yesterday.
Yes, interesting. Well, then maybe I should be having this conversation with him, but as I'm sure you know well, it probably would go nowhere.
I do appreciate your coming to me to butter me up. It is always nice to see fellow members of the community, by which she means rich people.
Yes, it's lovely. I've been out recently, and it's nice to be back home.
She says, I'm actually somewhat disappointed that he only came to see me yesterday when I've found out he's been in town for several days. Nearly a week, it seems.
Surely somebody of his stature would not be hiding in a city, this profitable.
As I say, he is mixed up in one of his oh-so-clever, sarcasm laid thick, schemes.
He really should grow out of that one day.
he believes that he is smarter than Gaston was, and he may be right in that. Gaston got himself chopped up quite good, from what I hear.
Oh, yes. I heard that as well.
But Gaston earned that by making dangerous enemies. My poor brother has an opportunity to not make dangerous enemies and seems to be squandering that opportunity.
Yeah. It's just... I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. Thankfully,
Comes with the territory. One cannot manage wealth of that size or nature without involving oneself in some kind of complication.
Yeah. And, I mean, there are positives to having family members that run off on joyrides rather than, contributing to the family. But, well, do wish him well. Hopefully, all goes well. Yeah, more business going through docks is more good for everybody. But, if
Indeed.
something happens down there, can't say I didn't warn you. Hopefully, next time you'll learn his lesson.
I'm certain it will not come as a surprise to me, but it may be a little surprising to my brother. Perhaps I shall mention it to him as a kindness. Or so I can tell him I told you so when it goes sour.
Hey, I hear we have a party to be celebrated, or a accomplishment to be celebrated today.
We do indeed. Let us hope that she is as inventive as her forebear.
And unless I get kicked out, I'm just going to join the party because I like parties.
Yeah, this is basically it's one of those weird double parties. It's like a children's party to celebrate and reward the daughter for accomplishing the cantrip. But it's also an adult party to celebrate, this will be good for us. This is going to help us get influence. Because the last little girl that learned magic that young, although technically Delterra learned it at the age of 5 months, not 5 years, but, small differences. Having a child prodigy mage in the family is apparently really good for business. Yeah.
Can't wait for her to develop crippling anxiety. It's going to be so tight.
Especially with the mother that's like, why haven't you invented something profitable yet? You need to get back in there and start inventing spells.
Oh my god, I hope they have good therapy in Sleep.
Considering the state of my cousin, Eddie would be a surprise.
And the sort of disappointing thing is that, if this training was being applied to everyone instead of just the wealthy, then, probably some really great talent would pop up out of the streets. But, yeah. This is the unfortunate truth of the situation.
So what you're saying is we should divert our plans, start a revolution to instate UBI inside of Celebre, is what you're saying.
I mean, if you pull off this heist, you'll have the money to fund it.
True that.
But also, now we must keep the established merchant order in place.
Alrighty. Then let's go off to the other adventure, which was going to be Tice. Is anyone going with Tice as he goes to check out the shop that sells the portable holes and bags of holding and such? Is it a solo op?
Quick question. Do we have any special rules regarding bags of holding and portable holes in this game?
Yes, they explode.
Fucking shit. God damn it. I was worried
everything gets sucked into Astral Sea.
Yeah, it's not as bad as in that Planescapes game where we were like ending entire civilizations and causing planar layers to collapse. It's just it's an explosion, and then it's an explosion that ruins both portable bag of holding, and all the stuff that's in it is, like he said, just scattered into the astral sea.
So we don't want that.
Yeah. We've intentionally toned down the effect to prevent it from being a cheap super
nuke?
weapon.
And basically a fucking nuke,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bad thing that you kind of
It's
don't
too
wanna do.
too exploitable, man.
But there are some rules about it. This it only affects, of course, extra dimensional stuff that's going outside of reality. You can still take a bag of holding safely through a portal that leads from a place to another place.
I see.
It's the non-places that have issues because they need to be tied down. There has to be a route from the non-place to a place. Alrighty. It sounds like you're doing this solo then, Tice.
All right.
You've got the address. Is anyone supplying him with money for this?
Yeah, I have taken pity on the poor soul and given him a little bit of money.
Am I allowed to go, or am I
Oh, yeah.
looking for my my other person?
No, you're allowed
Porter.
to go. You're the mastermind. So if you send, let's say for example, you send Barnabas on a separate adventure, and during Barnabas's adventure you need to use your criminal powers, you can totally do that because you're the mastermind and you planned all this out in advance.
Gotcha. I think I'll just wait anyways.
All right, so Tice plus 1 unit of wealth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So Tice, in what is not exactly a back alley, but kind of a hazardous place, like there's ropes and warning signs and do not enters, and a quite large hole in the ground that is the size of the former Magic University. Of course, a new one has been built, which is somewhat less impressive than the old one. The old one towered above the city. It was the dominant visual thing in the skyline right up until it teleported out. But along this hole was a street, and along that street were shops, most of which are condemned or closed down, except for one. And there are bouncers that let you through the ropes. It takes the flashing of some coin to convince them that you intend to spend money, and then you find yourself in front of a very interesting little shop. It smells quite pleasant. Lots of mixed aromas, and they appear to be selling various things, candles and such. But the inside of the shop has a door open, and what's through the door is not the inside of the shop. The door is standing in a frame in the middle of the shop, and you can quite plainly see that there is a small room through the door that is not behind the door. Walking a full circle around the door, you can see it from all angles, but from one particular direction, the door is open into another space. There is a small hourglass set on a table next to it, and the sands are running near to the end. As the sands get close to the end, the proprietor of the shop interrupts the customer that he was helping, comes around to where the door is, closes the door for a moment, lets the last drops of the sand come out, turns the sand over, and places a small glowing marble in the door frame. He then opens the door again and continues back to selling to a wealthy couple. Everyone who's in this shop looks very posh. The shop seems to specialize in these doors, but they do have some other lesser artifacts about. But there's definitely a sense that the primary thing they sell are potions, particularly scented air.
All right. I guess I'll go up to one of the workers there. Excuse me, I'm looking to buy something.
Of course, sir, salesman says. And what would an honored gnome such as yourself be interested in purchasing today? We have many wonderful available items.
I am myself in the need of a bag of holding or such thing with extra dimensional space. I needed to further my endeavors.
Of course, sir. Extra dimensional space is our specialty, and I would be happy to show you our demo model here to just go through all of the features before we make your final purchase. Did you have a budget you're trying to remain within?
I like to think of what exactly I have in my purse, like the one's worth of gold. It's like, yeah, I've got a decent price in my mind.
He's smiling and says, of course, sir, of course. And he takes you over to the door. This is our door model comes in two parts, the frame and the door itself. The frame is capable of supporting multiple doors. So once you have purchased a frame from us to use, you may purchase additional doors, should your finances allow, for as many rooms as you require in order to make use of extra dimensional space. Proceeding through the door, he, of course, passes right into the room. There doesn't seem to be any notable distortion as he goes in. It seems like it's a really stable, passable space. No pause either, no temporal buff. It was, pretty direct transition. Very smooth, very good tech. Inside the space, he points out, our extra dimensional spaces are somewhat confined, but at the same time, I think you'll find it's plenty of space for most storage needs. We do also have furniture available, and in the event that you need to spend time inside the space when it is closed, we sell potions of portable air. You will note some safety features. When the door is closed and the frame is unpowered, there is not a supply of breathable air within, so maintaining a potion supply from our counter is a vital safety feature. I simply wouldn't feel responsible if I sold you this door without also selling you a potion of breathable air. With a special discount if you get a 5-pack.
I see. And is the area that the door that accesses to it is that the only door that accesses it, or is there?
Indeed, it is, sir. Each door contains its own private, special space, which is unique to you as a customer. There is no way for anyone to access your space without your door, and no way for you to access anyone else's space. Complete security, sir. Guaranteed. You will find that our doors are of the highest quality. And he seems right. This is probably the smoothest transition. It obviously is not in the room, but it feels really smooth, the transition stepping into and out of the door.
Yeah, it's almost the best door. My people have known for having the best doors.
Yeah, it's not a gnomish door, but this is some high quality stuff. This is and I would like to demonstrate that this door is of such high quality that it is actually safe for you to bring other extra dimensional objects inside it. So this is the only shop of its kind that offers this service, but our extra dimensional spaces allow you to bring another extra dimensional space inside. This is allow me to demonstrate. And he goes over to a lockbox and opens up the lockbox and brings out a portable hole. It's a piece of cloth that is currently folded, but as he unfolds it, you see there is a hole inside it that leads to a sort of blank silver void. He calls an object to his hand within the void, and a little cup comes to his hand. He holds the cup, shows it to you, puts it back in the portable hole. This is portable hole. And then he says, hold on to your hats. And he carries the portable hole through the door, and there's nothing. Not even a spatial ripple. This is absolutely proprietary technology. You will not find magic like this anywhere else. I guarantee.
I see. And can this door be installed anywhere? Can I just put it up against the wall and it would work, or do I need to do fancy things?
Looking at the wall, you do see, although there seems to be a lot of empty spaces, there are spaces where doors are just leaning against a wall inside locked display cabinets. The doors themselves can be stored any way you wish. What it needs to be installed is the frame. And he says, allow me to demonstrate. And he asks you to leave the room. He leaves the room with you. He closes the door, turns a key, and you hadn't quite realized that there'd been something glowing up till this point, but part of the frame kind of darkens a little bit. And the door detaches with a click. And he just picks the door out of the frame, and now there's just an empty door frame, rectangular, just standing in the middle of the room. The door frame has a keyhole on it, not the door. And it also has a little slot where the magic marbles can be put in to power it. It says these frames can be installed wherever you need. They're made of the highest quality mahogany. And we have artists and artisans ready to fashion designs and inlays to match whatever architecture you would like the door to accompany. Be it a wizard's tower, a grand mansion, a bank, perhaps? He shrugs. He doesn't know what you do for a living.
Oh, and I just have another question. Does it work the other way around? For, let's say I put the frame into a bag of holding. Would I be able to store it?
Absolutely. You'll find no trouble whatsoever in that regard. Of course, I do not have a bag of holding with an aperture large enough to fit the frame. But if you need something like that, we may be able to arrange for a special order. Special orders of that nature, of course, are exorbitantly expensive, but you do seem like a man of great means. Looking at the price tags, you do sort of find suspiciously that these doors seem to be less expensive than a full, proper bag of holding would be. You're still going to need to spend the wealth that you brought, but yeah. You think that like a real bag of holding might require 5 times what you brought to spend. There is no price tag on the sample portable hole that he used.
And that's for one door, right?
So we have our initial price, which is the price for 1 door and 1 frame. And then if you require additional doors, you can pay for additional doors, which will continue to work with the frame that you've purchased. If you also require additional frames, you'll have to pay for the frames individually.
Is there any way to be able to recover something if, let's say, the frame itself were to be damaged?
Yes. So the magic is mostly in the door. The frames merely activate the door. So you can put this door into any frame that has our proprietary secret enchantments upon it, and the door will have your room inside it. The frame itself is just an activation device. It is the door that has the magic and the door that has your room and your private things.
All right, so I got to keep the door safe.
Yes.
Without the door, I have nothing.
And this is fairly consistent with the security here, is all the doors are in cases that are locked, whereas the frames are kind of in a pile in the corner.
Let me see how good my haggling skills are. Let's see here. So I have a little bit of an idea. So I might be able to spread my bang for my buck.
All right, what's your idea?
I want that I'm going to be spending a criminal potential to like, let's say, well, like one of his like one of his like his aunts or whatever, and I want to pose as like one of his like far distant cousins, because I'm going to attempt to get like a family discount on this like in this on this deal, so I can maybe potentially get more stuff out of it. Sometimes like I might be known, but like my uncle, like he fell in love with like your aunts out back east or wherever, or west, I think it is. And I'll give him some information um, but like she got sick, and she told me about about your like upcoming ideas and stuff. So I decided to come out here.
Okay, so you're activating the power to find out something. What are you trying to find out?
I want to find out I want to find out like his parents' names, and just like information that will make it sound like I'm actually like one of his relatives that
Okay,
might.
names of family members. All right. And so on your flashback will be that on your way here you stop by a local cemetery and look up relatives of the employees.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the ghosts do not consider you an adversary. They're happy to talk about their relatives. No roll is required. So you have some family names that you can drop if you're going to do some name dropping here.
Yeah. It's always good to always support the family business. You know what I mean? Like auntie. Well, my mother. Uh, Janice, she always wanted to come out here, but like she, how her health was always. Um,
Oh, you knew Grannis. How is she?
oh, sadly, she could not come out here, and she passed away a couple months ago. It was a big funeral out there, but it was distance away. Hard for everyone to come out there. I wanted to come out here to, like in her honor to, come check out how the rest of the family is doing here. Like your father Maurice and such.
He seems to be buying it. He wants you to see if after work you can stop by for dinner to say hi to the family. He's fairly charmed. You're not sure he's going to give you much of a discount, but yeah, definitely you have the advantage now.
But yeah, I might be able to stop by. I'm not sure right now. I'm doing a bit of business myself, and yeah.
Avatar, your family runs a Teamsters Guild, right?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna trigger Talus flashback skill, and she is going to bribe these people that the Teamsters Guild is looking for some new technology to transport stuff in portable spaces, and they need a trial before they put in a big order. And she'll be bribing them with some sort of preliminary order as a trial for future contract.
Okay.
And Charles is there to collect.
All right. Cool. So once the sales agent tells his boss who you are, Charles, and says, "Hey, it's Charles. He knows Aunt so and so and Uncle this and that," and the boss says, "Oh, it's him. Yeah. No, we have our sample ready to go." And the salesperson does look a little crestfallen because he was hoping to get that commission from the sale, but it's not too upset because you're family, right? Or so he thinks. And so yeah, they shuffle to the back and they bring out a. It's not fancy. This one hasn't been decorated. If anything, it's been reinforced, which makes it a little uglier for road travel. But it's one frame, one door. That's it. Pretty basic setup. And it comes with a little bag of marbles. Says, now this is what we agreed to, but I just want to point out, if you're going to have people in there when it's closed, if you run out of marbles, they're really going to want to have some of this potions of breathable air. Obviously, I can't discount these because we're already loaning you guys the travel kit here, but I think it would be a really responsible, safe thing for you to purchase this. He also sells marbles.
Yeah. Well. Well, I always got to help family, I also need to buy a second door, just to like compare the two between the sample and what's out in the front area as well. So I would like to pick up a second door and frame, as well as some of those air potions in.
Salesman's eyes light up. He's like, "Of course, we can take care of that." And the boss kind of holds him and says, "I want to make sure you understand, though, that if we do this, this is not like a deposit here. This is a payment. There's no returns on the second door. The demo one we'll take back, no problem, just like we agreed. But this one, if you buy this, you're buying it for keeps. Do we understand that?"
Oh yes.
Then not a problem, sir. We'll wrap that up. And you know what? throw in some of the fresh baked bread scented air. And so they give you a 5-pack of breathable air potions that smell like fresh baked bread. And yeah, and you've got a little bag with about 20 little power marbles that are glowing with a soft blue-white light.
You said 20 power marbles?
Yep. And so each one will keep the door open for about an hour.
And then I got 2 separate doors and 2 separate frames, right?
You got 1 frame, but 2 doors.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I only need 1 frame.
Right. All right. So you return to the party with that, and now we're going to deal with the embassy.
Did we already get the forgery?
That's a great question. I believe the answer is no, but you know the guy, so yeah.
All right. So I think before I head to the embassy, I'd like to grab that forgery. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you'd like to join me.
I'm definitely going.
All right. Yeah, I'll tag along.
All right. Rorik, are you going with him? Or are you just going to skip all this and go straight to your meeting with, sorry, looking up name, with Dela?
Wherever I'm needed, you know, if these guys need me to be there for the forgery, do you think you'll need to use force for the forgery? Because then I can be there.
I'll probably just need money.
I'll stay back then.
All right. To the
Rorik
forgery
only pays
then.
in punches.
I'm saving myself, you know, for combat. I don't want to do errands.
So the forger is a gilded forger. So if they're a thieves guild, and they know their stuff. They know that what they're doing is illegal. They're okay with that. But they do have some questions about, like, how authentic do you need this to be? Because, like, if we need to, like, you know, it's one thing to make it, you know, be in the right format on the right kind of paper. It's quite another to get, like, an official seal from a specific office.
We needed to convince, basically, what is it? The representative's like like an ambassador or something. I don't know what their title would be. Whatever level, yeah, that ambassador. We need to convince an ambassador.
From what you've given me, I can take care of something that any out-of-towner would think is legit. But if we're gonna make something that somebody who's lived at the embassy for a year, knows the departments, knows what their stamps look like, then I'm gonna need a little something extra to try and lift one of those stamps off somebody. Unless you can lift it for yourself.
How much extra?
Oh, you know, I mean, we've got personnel, travel expenses. It probably take about an hour and a half, maybe. So labor charges. Definitely, he's trying to play up that he's gonna want like a big pile of money. So I understand, you know, you want to get this done, but I'm guessing you're on the clock here. He's trying. What he wants to do is he wants to dial this up from being a petty cash expense that doesn't even really need to be on your character sheet because you passed that the connections check. He wants to dial that up to you actually turning over an item or material or yeah. potentially taxing a resource or giving up one of those wealth things. He'd love to get some wealth, but that's probably more than is really needed here.
I have no problem taxing a resource to get one. Like, I'm trying to convince an ambassador with a document from their hometown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So you tax a resource, and he sends his minions out and about. You do hear word as those guys are coming back that Evitala and Charles have both finished their tasks, and they're safely back at base. But then his minions arrive, and they've lifted the stamp and and left a receipt because they are Thieves Guild. He's a little pissed off at them for leaving a receipt. And they just say, rules are rules, man. It's like, all right, well, this is going to have a time limit on its usefulness, I guess. But he makes the document. He says, this is indistinguishable from an original. And then he hands the items back to the Thieves Guild. He's like, when they come looking for it, this is on you guys. And his minions scurry away. Part of maintaining themselves as a guild involves careful regulation of how much they're allowed to steal. This would be an item that would be stolen for basically stolen for a ransom. So these guys left a receipt with essentially a ransom value that they believe the item has, and the previous owner can simply go to the Thieves Guild, report the theft, pay the ransom, and receive their item back.
Nice.
Yeah. It means that no one actually loses anything precious. They just have to, pay the tax of being in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Violothan's reforms have definitely improved the process. Mostly his reforms are executing thieves that violate the various rules they have in place to prevent the city from considering thieves a kill-on-sight issue.
All right. Well, once we get our forgery, I'll give it to Barnabas, and I'm gonna go rest.
All right, Barnabas, you have your forgery, and you've made your costume. You're ready to go to the Corlanthi embassy and become a Corlanthi ambassador.
Excellent. My moment has arrived. All right, so Barnabas will get into the disguise before doing that.
Yeah, probably best to be in disguise before you arrive. That's a good plan.
And all right, yeah, and I have the forgery, right? So I will head on over to the embassy.
All right. What direction will you approach the embassy from?
I'll just go right towards the front door if there seems to be a front door.
It's a complex. It has a few entrances. It's pretty big. But do you want to approach from the docks? Do you want to approach from the main trade road from the north? Docks are the south, trade roads from the north, and the market is from the west. The university is from the east.
From the trade road then.
Okay, so you're going to imply then to when they see you that you have come overland to arrive.
Oh, okay. I need to look at a map. I'm not sure what makes more sense, actually.
Sure. If you look in the Talus directory under the Aphthis War, you will see a map. Corlanth, you'll see down on the right-hand side there. Road routes would go actually into Aphthis and then out through Kylogan into the Middle Kingdoms to Baron and then south through the Druid Woods to Celebre. The sea route would go from Corlanth south directly into the ocean, around past the Pirate Coast, past Half-Elven, and north up into Celebre.
Do we know how the other Corlanth person arrived?
An educated guess would be by sea, since Corlanth is considered a naval trade empire in competition with Celebre.
Yeah, in that case, I'll come in via the docks.
Okay. So coming in from the south, they presume that you came from the docks, which perfectly matches Dasko's story that he had told to the Thieves Guild about what was going on. So you arrive. Of course, they immediately they recognize your garb as being from their homeland or whatever, but they still have to put you through all the usual security procedures, check your paperwork and such. When all that is found to be in order, you come on in, and you're inside the embassy. The embassy is organized by families. So Corlanth has all of these different merchant families that are always sort of vying for power. And so even within the Corlanth embassy, there are separate buildings for the different families and what they represent. It is pretty much unheard of for there to be a non-family affiliated member. Now, your paperwork does give you affiliation from a family. These families are also very big, so you're not super worried about nobody recognizing you. But yeah, there's a dwarf family that you can be assigned to. You also do need to go visit at some point the representative that you're replacing.
Cool. Yeah, that's actually my main goal, so I will try and find them and relieve them of their duty.
Okay. This is the first time any of you have actually seen who this person is, so while you had some information perhaps gleaned from the thieves about their name, this is the first time you've actually seen them. How are you going to mark them or indicate to Rurik that this is the one that needs to be not arriving at home?
Yeah, not sure. I'm not sure if I am able to mark them in a way that would persist long enough. So I wonder if I can just get a good enough description and we can maybe use that.
All right, it's a medium-build half-elven man with a short beard, pointy ears, head shaved bald, but that was a lifestyle choice, not a natural bald, and so the hair is starting to grow back.
Question. If since Avatala is back, could Avatala have gone in behind just their capacity as business lady and be able to maybe magically mark?
Yes, you may have. That's something you might do. You might be able to get yourself insinuated in there. Are you going to be going in there as Evatala, who is known in the city? Or are we going to try a disguise?
I'm torn because if I go there as Avatala, all I have to do is be able to follow the guy and, as he leaves, attack him. But I think Avatala wants to go in disguise because going in disguise is fun. So, yeah. Now, what that disguise is, here, what's that disguise be? Barbas, can you disguise a Talus for me?
I mean, could I just give some sort of? I think maybe I could put together some sort of Corlanthi disguise. I don't know, like.
You made an outfit for yourself, so you can make an outfit for somebody else pretty easily. You also, though, know things like how to speak with a Corlanthi accent. You have...
Can I be like your assistant, like secretary type?
Yeah, totally. And then I don't know if we want to go so well. Yeah. Let's do that.
Like I would not be expected to speak, just be noting down.
Totally.
That's and then you get in that case I might even have to mark them because then I could leave like I'm there to escort them and I could just be the mark because I'm next to them as they head back to wherever their ship is or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, that could be good.
And that way I don't have to do anything other than be like, ah!
Yeah, and then I guess let's just assume we have Rorak waiting at the docks as part of our master plan here.
All right.
Presumably we've also waited a bit for like the cover of darkness.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you're waiting for the evening, then upon being handed the papers, the person, the half elf, says, "Did not want to be recalled. I was looking forward to this assignment, but duty at home takes precedent, so I shall leave in the morning. I'm going to get a good night's rest, and so I will be clear-headed for the sail."
All right. Well, sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news.
Is that?
You have a good night.
You as well.
So how about, like, I guess, I don't know if you want to mark, sorry, just pulling out of the scene. I don't know if you want to magically mark them or if we just take note of where their room is, we can kind of just stake out and escort them out tomorrow.
Tomorrow you need to be getting out there to the meeting. So whatever you're going to do is something you'll need to do tonight. Either forcing them out or, yeah. Because when the morning comes, you need to go meet the caravan.
Just tell them that it's urgent, that they're supposed to like ship back on the ship that brought you.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Okay, well, unfortunately, this is a rather urgent matter, and they wanted you to head out on the ship that I arrived on immediately.
All right, roll some persuasion dice there.
Can I assist in like my role as waiting escort?
You can. Now, if you speak, it will be notable that you do not have a Corlanthi accent.
I don't want to speak. I just want to look like I am waiting there to escort them.
Okay, yeah. Do a performance check, and you can add those as pips.
So you would have 2 pips on that.
Let's see, what would 2
nice.
pips do to that? That was a... You've got a 5 that would become a 6, and another 5 that would become a 6, so that would end up with 5 successes total. All right, yeah, that would crush it. Those pips actually saved you from that becoming more of a problem. So yeah,
Awesome.
looking at the nervousness of the secretary. All right, if it really is that important, and he rushes into his room, grabs his basically his emergency bag. He's a diplomat, he knows. Sometimes you just gotta go. So he grabs his emergency overnight bag and goes to the secretary and says, "Lead the way." Secretary, I mean you, Tala.
Yeah, I just like wave him on and open the door to Heist.
All right. It's dark down by the docks.
Lurking in the shadows.
You hear the splash of water as the boats rock gently.
Is there anyone about?
Always. But not the kind of people you want to run into in the dark at the docks.
Is there like a little like secluded area that might be shielded?
Yeah, there's several. A few of them are used as liaison points for various ne'er-do-wells. Also, there's quite a bit of noise and commotion coming from some of the local taverns as the many, many sailors that visit this port blow off some steam. Celebre is a huge trade city, and it gets a lot of traffic, which means the docks themselves are huge, so there's lots of little places to hide, which in turn creates lots of little opportunities for illicit businesses.
Well, I'm presumably somewhat familiar with the docks. I'm assuming Rourke has just told me where to lead this guy.
Yeah, especially since there is no actual ship that brought you guys in. That was complete fabrication, so you can lead them wherever you want.
Yeah.
It's not like he's going to arrive and be like, hey, wait a second, that's not the ship you came in on. It's like, he doesn't know.
All right. Well, I lay it to our proposed rendezvous point, and as we get there, I am going to silence it magically.
Oh, clever. Okay.
Nice.
All right, that's a good improvised spell there. Go ahead and put your arcane dice out, and that's definitely within your thieves toolkit, so you get advantage. So you can also roll your cunning and crime or scholarship, whichever is more appropriate. I think it's crime though.
They're actually equal for me.
Oh, a learned criminal or a thiefy scholar. I don't know which one.
Three successes.
Okay. Silence is an interesting one. Let me take a look. You're not really hurting them, but you are taking away all dice from all verbal activities. I think 3 would be successful with that. It's a single target. Yeah, that makes sense. Just looking up to see what spell Dungeons and Dragons considers it to be. And this doesn't show a level, so I'm just going to use the Talus rules instead. Okay, yeah. So yes, tax your your magical ability by.
Yeah, I said
Yeah, cool.
toxic.
And then it takes him a second to realize that he can't hum his favorite tune, and then his eyes go wide and he's on alert.
I assume we're in the vicinity of Rorik now, basically.
Yeah, this is like as I lead him into whatever secluded alley we've decided.
Excellent.
Rorik,
Rorik,
your target is aware that something is amiss, and so probably is going to be able to respond and try to defend himself, but cannot scream for help.
All right. So what am I rolling here?
Well, I guess it depends on how you want to deal with this guy, but I think we want him dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So without any prejudice, we're just gonna start flinging punches here. We're really just attacking with my.
If you've got a weapon, you can get pips from the weapon.
Funny story. I have a buckler and a shield proficiency.
Nice. If you guys want to go stabby, remember too, you also have the dagger that cleans up blood.
I'll give her something to clean up. Let's see. So I'll use melee and let's see. Just vigor then, right? Melee and vigor.
Okay.
So I was just thinking about like, well, how are we going to dispose of this body? And then I realized I have a bag of holding. That's one of my items that I used, one of my resources or whatever those points are.
You've just been sitting on a bag of holding when Tice has been looking for one to finish his spell this whole time, right?
Well, I mentioned that I had it a while back, but then everyone still wanted, I don't know, it seemed like everyone still wanted to go get the other bag of holding, so I was like, all right, I guess if we need multiple bags of holding, that's fine.
And now you guys have just like all kinds of extra dimensional stuff going on. So yeah, more tools.
I only rolled 2 successes.
I've got a battle axe.
Oh, good.
Wait,
So
did
if I notice that this guy,
Huh?
Oh wait, that's not the battle axe you sold though, is it? To the king?
It must not be.
Okay.
No.
I think this is just my personal weapon. So I guess if I notice that Rorik's if this guy isn't dead after what Rorik did to him, I will step in if I need to. But I don't really like to get my hands dirty, so I'm just gonna lay back and wait.
I'm assuming casting spell count as my action for now.
Yes. And the guy is going to take his action. So seeing Rorik coming at him, he reaches into his overnight bag and pulls out a short sword. He couldn't quite fit a long sword in there, but he's going to, basically take a fighting stance and try to defend himself.
He did good.
He did. You've got 2 attacks coming at you from a condition as he blocks your attack, focusing mostly on protecting himself, but he's using a bladed weapon. Because this is an injury coming at you, both taxes have to be applied to the same place.
So I have anticipation. It says your keen senses and intuition give you an edge in predicting your opponent's strikes and countering them with your own. You may pay 1 melee to reduce the severity of all physical conditions or consequences by a number of turns equal to your by your notice for a number of turns equal to your perception.
Oh wow, cool. Okay. I'm going to bring that up just so I have it for reference here. What was it called?
Anticipation. It's a melee skill or melee
Got it.
talent.
And what is your notice?
My notice is 2.
Cool. So that completely avoids that. And will continue to avoid that for a number of turns equal to your perception, which is what?
2.
2. Okay. So for this turn and next turn, yeah, the first 2 points of anything that comes at you doesn't. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I paid for that. I paid for that talent dearly, and I was like, "This is my baby. I'm going to use this whenever I can."
I presume that Barnabas did not go with you. You're taking up your position in the emissary. Is that right?
Oh. Well, I thought we were all escorting him out there.
Okay.
But my understanding was that was just me. If Barnabas came too, that would have made it easier to not small talk.
Yeah, I figure I came out with them because I mean, I do need to take up my post, but I also wanted to like make sure this guy got taken care of. Because I can always just go back. That's not like someone's like waiting for me there, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. All right, so if you're there, then you get an action as well.
Is the guy so the guy's still alive?
Yes. The guy has not taken any injury yet, but was also unable to deal injury to Rourke. The only thing special about him at the moment is that he is silenced.
Hmm. All right, I will do my best. I'm not really a fighter, so let's see how this goes.
Also, try
I
not
whip.
to get your costume scuffed up.
Oh, I know. Seriously, don't want to get any blood on it. As I proceed to pull out my battle axe. All right, so let's see. I suppose it's vigor if I'm going to do something with a battle axe, right?
Yep, anything beefy would be vigor.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, you do a point of damage, so to speak.
So I guess I pull out my battle axe and go to attack, but basically, I don't know, hit him in the hand or something.
Something like that, yeah. You're starting to get
Something not vital.
You're starting to get the sense that this guy might actually be a fairly skilled swordsman with experience in being in hostile situations as a diplomat. All right, we're next round. Evatala, what would you like to do?
Oh,
Throw your pocketbook at him.
I do have a wrench.
It's heavy.
Does Evatala use offensive magic at all? Or is it purely like stealthy stuff?
She's not really a fighter. She might know like a spell or two, but mostly they'd be more about like debuffing somebody than actually like causing them harm.
Okay.
Let's see. I have the dagger, but it's Evatala, so Evatala's going to get the wrench instead. It just try and smash the shoulder that's holding his weapon.
All right. Go power wrench.
So that's what plus Bailey? Sorry.
I
About-
mean, typically
Probably vigor or
Yeah,
Bigger. Okay.
vigor is the typical one for big swings like that.
damn.
Successes.
Jeez.
What?
I'm so proud of you, honey. That was great. Rorak sheds a small tear. She's so proud.
That was the last thing that the half elf expected, and so that happens as the half elf was ready to fight Rorik, not that. But now, man, now just anything goes, doesn't it? Rorik, your move.
It's not his turn now.
He was caught off guard. On
That's
that
fair.
one, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. If I attack him with my shield, do I get to use my shield proficiency?
Yes. If you can narrate it, then that's what it's all about.
So basically, my first attack is with my weapon hand, and now my follow up is just a strike with the buckler to his face, hopefully.
Okay.
So if I have a mastery and the item has a quality of like 6, how do I get that in there?
So the mastery should, I believe the mastery adjusts your threshold, and the item's quality gives you pips.
So in this case, so I taxed my melee by 1, so I'm down to D7 T5. Those
Okay.
or what do I lower the threshold
Yeah.
to?
So threshold by default is 6. So if you've improved it by 1, then the threshold is 5, and you also get 6 pips. There's a solid swing.
Crunch right in the fucking face.
Crunch indeed. Don't think he's going to be able to deal with that the same way he did the last one, but we'll see.
Bucklers are very small shields, so they're great for, punching with, basically.
Oh my god.
Oh dear Lord.
Holy shit! Who is this man?
Apparently a badass. Parries that, takes a little stab at you, but that's with his right hand. And with his left hand, he turns and he casts Magic Missile at Evatala.
Good God.
Evatala, you have a 2-point condition hitting you in the form of a magical blast of light.
Okay, how do I do that now?
You'll have to choose one of your stats and apply it to that, unless you have talents that let you do crazy stuff like what Rourke did.
Yeah. I don't have that.
The most common stat to apply things like that to is health.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can do stuff like break your hands so you can no longer play piano to take the damage, stuff like that. You can apply the 2 points to whichever stat you want, but they both have to apply to the same one.
Okay. I'm just going to go on health for now.
Okay? And of course, because of your ability, Rourke, the 2 points that would have been dealt against you are mitigated, but you're at a standoff with this guy as the air sizzles around their left hand, and their right hand takes up a clear. This is not a fencer's stance here. This is a clear. I fight I fight assassins who are trying to change politics kind of stance. Barnabas, you're up.
Good luck.
Barnabas is not liking this at all. Yeah, so Barnabas does not want to get his whole disguise dirty really at this point, and things are getting pretty crazy. So he's gonna kind of just put his battle axe away and just start heading out of the alley and just keeping a lookout to see if anyone else is alerted by what's going on down here. You guys got this. I trust it. I trust you. He's just like backing away. Good luck.
That's amazing.
Alrighty then, we're back around to Evatala. The fire burned. It was magic fire too. It wasn't like real fire. So it just did direct energy damage to you, which is its own special kind of pain.
Give me 1 sec.
She's taking her fucking earrings off. She's taking her fucking high heels off. She's like, okay, motherfucker.
Actually, is magic missile need a verbal component?
Not the way this guy cast it.
Oh, okay.
Motherfucking Dumbledore.
But other spells are going to be problematic if they do. Yeah.
So, which way is this guy facing?
This guy is facing Rurik, but seems to have that kind of fighter's awareness. However, that might be an illusion, because Magic Missile is an auto-targeting spell, so it never misses. So this guy might actually not really know exactly where you are right now. From what you know of spells, a lot of the targeting stuff is probably not going to work for him. He's not going to be able to pull off Fairy Fire. He's not going to be able to pull off anything big. Like lightning bolts, fireballs are completely out of possibility right now. Could cast invisibility spells. Almost all stealth spells don't have a verbal requirement because that would completely defeat the purpose of being stealthy.
Yes.
You, on the other hand, are not silenced, and you can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of terrain, this guy is on docks. Underneath the docks are water. The docks are made of wood. Rurik is blocking escape, so there's at least that. Barnabas has fled.
Barnabas is guarding the entrance. But I... Oh.
I picture
How do-
Barnabas leaning up against a post, like, you know, yeah, sailors, am I right? To passerbys.
Okay. I think I'm just... I'm trying to think, how can I restrain him from casting more spells?
You need to disable his spell hand, right?
Right.
Do you have any nature magic? Maybe you can...
I have magic improvisation, so I could come up with something.
Yeah, I mean, if we've got wood, it's organic material. You could maybe have it grow vines or some shit and flash them down or something like that.
Yeah, that is... The other... I guess this won't work because it would... it would catch you as well, but I was also thinking about... We're on docks, we're a little bit over... presumably we're a little bit over water. Here, I could make the terrain really unsteady for them, but I think try to restrain with like vines out of wood is probably better. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of my magic.
Well, let's hope I can get him real good, and that he doesn't roll like a goddamn rock
Yeah.
star again.
Yeah. Turns out you were going to beat up some news reporter. Turns out it was actually Clark Kent, and you're actually fighting Superman.
Jesus, I know. Doesn't pay to be a villain.
All right. So, yeah, here it goes.
What is the effect you're
Hold up.
attempting to create?
I've tried to restrain him.
To restrain him?
Restrain particularly the free arm. That
Okay.
could cast magic.
What does the spell look like?
Essentially, what's going to happen is the wood of the docks is going to suddenly almost revitalize and ideally like, explode out and capture this arm within its growth.
Okay.
Ideally, I want his arm to be captured within solid wood rather than vines. But if you say that's not possible, that's fair enough.
No, I mean, this is magic, so that's
Yeah.
absolutely possible.
Yeah, that's
100%.
3 successes on that.
Do you want your spell to directly damage him? Or do you want your spell to restrain him to make him easier to hit? Or do you want your spell to shut down his ability to attack effectively?
Shut down his ability to use magic without dropping his sword.
Okay.
And like, presumably, make it a little more difficult to get free, you know?
Yeah, if he moves forward or try to strike, he'll just get yanked by the arm because he's gonna have to deal with that before he can make evasive maneuvers.
Yeah.
Or offensive maneuvers.
Alrighty. Your wood in cases and pulls and tugs. And, yeah. Rorik, you're up.
I hit him.
Oh, sorry. Did I miss the roll? Oh, no. Okay. Here it comes.
The question is how hard.
Yeah, I can I attack with my shield every time? Is that something I can do?
Yeah, I mean, if that scene with what's his name, the temporary Captain America was
But
an
also-
indication.
Yeah, but also these guys in the Crimson Guard or whatever, right? Is that what their name?
Yes.
Yeah, they use shields as weapons, so maybe a little inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now they do also carry swords. It's a sword school first and foremost. But yes, the new recruits are being trained in a new shield style. That is pretty impressive. There
That's
you
what I'm
go.
fucking talking about.
All right. He's going to make his best attempt here to try to deal with the vines. Because if he can't deal with the vines, he's got no chance of dealing with oncoming damage like that.
Okay, Rock.
With 4 pips remaining.
The pot is juiced tonight.
Get fucking wrecked, nerd.
He could not overcome the strength of the vines. Takes that full damage directly to the face. So this guy slumps down. The vines basically are now all that's holding him up. As you render him unconscious, or at least disabled. Now the question is, what are you going to do with this person now that they are effectively defeated?
When is the group going to get back together?
Oh, these guys went off on their own.
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
we
I
gotta
think
kill him.
I think it's your turn. You know, I think
Yeah.
you've got your little drinky dagger. So
Yep. Yeah, just go and finish him off, I think.
Okay. The dagger drinks the blood, and the man dies. Do you want to bring the corpse back for your necromancer?
Yeah, let's stuff it in Barnabas's bag that he had this whole time.
Barnabas is like, looks over and sees that like it looks like the guy's dead now. Okay, he like walks back.
Quick
Whip.
quick scan with the dagger to clean up any residual blood.
All right. The dagger looks like shiny now. The rust is gone. You get all the blood is up. There were some splatters as like a shield bashed this guy's face in, but you managed to soak up all the ones you can find in the middle of the night in the dark, and proceed onward.
Somebody's gonna walk by and be like, oh, that's weird. And then and that's gonna be
Do we leave the vines?
The vines presumably go away after. It feels like something I would have to, concentrate on maintaining.
Yeah, making magic permanent definitely has more requires more juice, but the docks are a bit warped, and there probably will be for a while.
somebody's gonna say something fucking weird happened here, and they're gonna get a shiver down their spine, and then they're gonna move the fuck on because they know better than to linger about.
Yep.
Yep. And wind and weather and waves will in time wash it all away. All right, returning to your base of operations at that little bar. Yeah, you guys meet back up. Except for Barnabas, who is currently deployed now at the embassy.
Awesome. Yeah, I will just slink on back to my hopefully lavish sleeping quarters and just get some rest after a pretty stressful day.
Avatala immediately returns to Avatala. Being a secretary for a few hours was fun, but a bit demeaning.
At least it wasn't your own clothing that was charred by the bolt of magic. It was just a costume.
And Avatala needs rest.
Charles, they do have a gift for you, I think.
Yeah.
The first source of bones to try out your magic on.
Well, I might still have the bag of holding unless someone borrowed it from me.
We took the body back with it.
Yeah, so unless you want to be walking around the embassy with a bag of folded with a body in it.
Yeah, I had assumed that you left that shit with us because like, there's no way Barnabas is gonna take a fucking body to just have with him while we could be using it.
Well,
Just
you never know.
Keep the incriminating evidence on you, so that if they catch you, they'll immediately know everything you did.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, it is a little bit past midnight. We've been going for just a hair over 2 hours. So I feel like this is a pretty good time to close it up. But just before you guys do the finishing ceremony, just some quick cleanup, because we're in position to start day 19. Charles, throughout the course of the evening, having eventually acquired the extra dimensional stuff that you needed, you do complete the spell. It's worth noting that the door itself didn't have the info you needed, but as soon as you got a hold of Barnabas's bag of holding that had the corpse inside, that had the information you needed as you examine the event horizon that transitions between dimensions. Why the door's event horizon did not give you the information you needed, you're not sure yet, except, of course, from the salesman's sales pitch, he said that it was of the highest quality, and maybe it's just to smooth the transition for you to look at the border that the necromancer's text indicated. The Lich, after all, was talking about relationships between astral spaces and things. But yeah, you have your spell. You actually have two versions of it. You have a third circle version that summons a skeletal crew from bones, and you have a fourth circle version that raises a ship. If you raise the ship does not require a crew. The ship will operate itself. The skeleton crew, however, can operate any ship that you have not raised, and it is a lower circle spell, making it easier to cast. And I think everybody else got what they were after.
Am I able to get rest in my own bed tonight, maybe?
Yeah. You don't have to go to the hideout. You can go to your mansion and get a really nice quality. You can get a nice quality 6 rest. Everybody else staying at the inn. The inn is quality 3, unless you guys want to shell out for a nicer spot.
Quality 3 means we get to do what? Just erase 3 tacks?
Erase 3 tacks and then move as many tacks to your endurance as you like.
You mean your stamina?
Oh, sorry, stamina. Yeah. It was called stamina, then we changed the name to endurance, and then we changed it back to stamina.
It's 6 is erase 6 tax, correct?
What's that?
6 would be to erase 6 tax, correct?
Yes, that's
For
correct.
the
That's
quality.
exactly the amount of tax I had.
Ew.
If you're willing to, spend some money, though, you guys could move into a nicer establishment if you want.
I barely broke a sweat, so I'm good.
I mean, I only got 1 tax though after that, so I'm fine, I think.
I don't.
Yeah. I might definitely have some plans, especially with those doors now that we have.
Dude, I never buy talents, and I should buy talents more because anticipation is tight as fuck.
Talents are really where the game opens up.
So, I don't actually know how my talents. How does that work?
Hell yeah. Let's talk about talents.
So talents cost 10 experience points, and there's a massive list of them on the wiki. But yeah, so we generally have them sorted by the skills that they are most related to. Talents do have a prerequisite, which is usually that one or more skills need to be at a certain level before they can be accessed. So anticipation, for example, that Jackie used with Rurik today, that requires that you have a melee of 5 to get. It's considered like the top level melee talent, but you spend 10 experience points and you have the talent. And the talent does its thing. If you need to invent a new talent, you can do that. You can actually do it in the middle of combat if you need to, or in the middle of a situation. You can invent a new talent. Using the invented talent costs 3 experience points. After you've used it 3 times, you may pay the final 10th experience point to make it real, and it goes on your character sheet as a permanent thing you can use forever. But the list that's already there is great. Like, spend 10
It's like
experience
talents on
points.
layaway.
Yeah, it's kind of it's part of like the idea is narratively your character is learning. They invent it and then they get some practice with it and then it becomes a learned thing.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to start with the first experience?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I guess. All right. Let's see. Rurik for just bashing that person's face in. Yeah. Avatala for I just really got like Tangled vibes from that very beginning of the fight with the wrench, and so I appreciated that. What Barnabas for for noping out of there with the when the bigger picture was more important. And then where's what is your character's name? Charles for getting us a skeleton ship. And just your dedication to your character, like the accent and everything you use when you're speaking as your character.
I want to go next. So I'm awarding a point each to Barnabas and to Charles. And the reason why I'm doing this is because poor Charles is just fucking running around for sessions trying to decode a fucking bag of holding that Barnabas has had this entire time. And I just love the actual like role playing aspect of it, that we just caught Barnabas being a shady motherfucker and be like, you had this shit the whole time. So I'd like to award a point to both of them for that little just fun dynamic of not looking at your inventory on your character sheet, turning into fun role playing. For Avatala for absolutely crushing that poor man with the fucking wrench. Like that was listen, it's part luck, but it's amazing. Like you got so many successes from a role that I did not expect at all to generate maximum successes. It was fucking awesome. Chris, I'm pretty sure you played an instrumental part in just kind of like planning everything and just getting all the pieces in place. And I'm bad at that stuff. I'm just here to hit stuff, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll go next. I'll give one to Mini Beast for that for for your thing is what does the ground taste like, little man? For that shield bash you did to them. One to Evan for just for I'm just here for the samples, using your power to get us an extra door, basically for the heist. Rav, yours is even though it's not a frying pan, I like to call it a frying pan. Who knew? For using a wrench to like beat the crap out of someone. I like to give one to Shifty for being able to for just being able to walk in like you are part of the place and just like you're like, yeah, I totally work here. You come with me onto this dock for no reason in this dark area of the time, just like convincing them. Like, and yeah, that's it.
All right, I'll go. Point to Jackie for. Well, it was a slow go at the beginning. Absolutely destroyed this poor diplomat who probably was not innocent, but definitely did deserve what he got. Point to Kristen for just perfectly encapsulating Barnabas's flightiness, both by flayed and by having the bag of holding the whole time. I point to Chris for truly I play out this mastermind character with a hand in everything, but without actually having to do any of the dirty work. Point to Tice for even though really did not need to buy the door after Remy's flashback. Still buy one anyway because why not? And also securing the family discount of these breathing potions, which certainly will come in useful when we insist that they're going to destroy everything in the future. think I got everybody.
All right, I will go next. A point to Viv and Jackie for the combo move. Viv for the spell of binding, and then Jackie for just absolutely crushing that dude. I like to think that, you guys were like hustling him a little bit, like let him get his guard down and then just completely crush him. Chris, a point for coming up with the idea to get a forged letter in order to convince the Corlanthe ambassador that he needed to go back. And then I'd be replacing him. And then a point to Tice for tracking down that bag of holding. And that's it for my points. I think that's everyone.
Yeah, I think that is. So,
Cool. Let's talk about talents.
Yeah, so I posted a link there to the Talus wiki, and if on that you open up the little drop down for skills and talents, man, there's a lot of them. But basically, like the aptitude talents are things that have to do with the base aptitudes. These are super powerful. A lot of them have some pretty heavy requirements, but they do really broad, many situation useful things. Then there's the mundane and the combat skills. The mundane ones in particular, these are super specific and awesome. There's like all kinds of crazy stuff, particularly like if you open up crime, you're going to find all kinds of crazy stuff in here. That's where like I know a guy was. There's treasure hunter is another good one. Like there's just all kinds of good stuff in there.
And what I like to do is I put the talent in, and it automatically deducts 10 points for the cost of the talent. But then I basically copy and paste the description of the talent in the cell to the right of the talent on my sheet, just so I can easily reference it without having to go into the wiki to find it. Because otherwise I'm never going to remember what any of this shit does, and I want to use my fucking talents. I paid good points for these.
All right, so one of the things I immediately pull up here is your persuasion. You've got a persuasion of 3. This is great. So looking at some of these persuasion abilities, right? We've got any man takes a shot at me. This requires 3 persuasion to purchase, and then when you have it, by spending 1 persuasion and making a short, intimidating comment, you can dissuade others from attempting an action. Individuals attempting the action always do so with a -1 threshold penalty, meaning that even sixes don't count as successes. Almost all of them are going to have some kind of like narrative requirement. Oh, good night, Tice.
Yeah. Good night.
So almost all of them have some kind of narrative requirement that you have to explain how you're doing it or give a speech or something. But they like these are really awesome.
You also have like a crime of 3. Ooh, you have. Did you put in the points you earned from today's session?
I have, yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you've got like 17 points available.
Yeah, you can totally buy a talent. I would say you can choose between crime, leadership, or scholarship, or performance or persuasion. Basically, the ones that have the highest point value, those are going to have some of the slightly more powerful talents, but definitely take a look at some of the other stuff too, because it's worth looking into.
The other thing you might find useful is in the potential talents under esoteric potential, you're going to find a lot of stuff related to your magic. Talents that'll help you become more effective with your spells or cast more spells for less tax. Put the tax in other things other than your esoteric, so you've got more dice going on. And also things that let you do stuff where you don't have to roll necessarily. So like memorize spells go off perfectly. They don't have to be rolled to see if they go off. So there's stuff in there too.
I'm also looking at your sheet, and it looks like you have a 3 in scholarship. And let me tell you, some scholarship skills are pretty fucking cool, or talents, I should say.
Yeah, scholarship and interestingly, labor have some of the
Yeah, labor is
wildest
tight,
stuff.
but I could never find a reason to use it though. I was really thinking about having that on this character just because I thought it would fit her, but I had a hard time imagining situations where I'd use some of the labor talents.
All right, so here's a great sort of one. Let's see here. Right, elbow grease. This is one of my favorites. You're used to hard work and long hours of mental and physical exertion. You may choose to pay for the cost of any talent with labor instead of its usual cost.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Elbow grease is tight.
Yeah,
Right.
so you could have not taxed your
Melee.
and kept all those dice to keep rolling big melee hits while still using that melee talent.
Mm.
Instead, you'd just be taxing your labor. Scholarship has a similar one for, I think, for mentally kind of stuff. I gotta find it.
So my next talent that I'm saving up for right now is called Go for the Eyes. You need to have Anatomist, which is a scholarship talent, to get it. And then it says your extensive knowledge of anatomy gives you an edge in dealing damage. You may pay the cost of Anatomist during combat to grant its bonus to any melee attacks.
Oh yeah, I found this the scholarship version. It's called Midnight Oil, and this one's in some ways even crazier. So long hours of study and mental exertion has given you the ability to work on mental tasks for much longer than a sane person should. Instead of paying the cost of talents used for, now that should say mental actions, not physical, that was a typo. You may instead tax your composure for any amount equal to twice that cost. So you can damage your composure to pay for mental activities. Basically, slowly go insane, but not have to tax your persuasion when using persuasion abilities and other stuff. So yeah, those have good combo potential. Now those are not good things to have on their own. There's something that you want to have something powerful, and then you use those to be able to use it more frequently. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And but yeah, thank you everybody for that great session. And we will pick up and record hopefully next week, I think. I don't think anything crazy is going on that I know of.
We hope.
Awesome.